Hey everybody and welcome back to my channel. So White House I keep wanting to say White House Down.
Get your hands off my Jordans!
So White House Farm. It's a 6-part series that was originally released on ITV early last year and has just come out on Netflix now. And it's this retelling of an event that took place in Essex, UK in the late 1980s. I'm going to do my best to keep this one spoiler free for you guys because A, I'm not a dick, and B, I'm probably going to recommend this to you guys by the end of this video and I want you guys to enjoy it as much as possible. Essentially, this story depicts what happens when the police found this wife, her mother and father, and her 2 twin sons shot dead in this countryside house in the middle of the night. It follows the event itself as well as the police investigation that took place afterwards. ITV seem to be coming out with some gems lately. It wasn't too long ago that I reviewed Des, and this seems to be another great example. It's 6 episodes, each about 45 minutes long, and for the most part it doesn't mess around. The first part of episode 1 is the slowest bit of the show, but that's understandable knowing that you have to set up the context around this show. And then 30 minutes into episode 1, the main event happens, and it goes full swing from there on. I thought this was originally going to be about the victims themselves, who they were, what it was they were doing that led up to the events that took place that night, but instead we end up following the point of view of the police, which in hindsight makes a lot of sense. The information in order to recreate the story were taken from interviews, police reports, public footage that was all taking place during the time. It would make a lot of sense that most of the recordings of what happened that night would be from official police reports. And it is just frustrating to see what went down. I thought I had the show figured out with how it was going to portray the story. It could have easily been a documentary or a sad drama about the father that was left with all of this afterwards. But instead we get this retelling of the lack of competency that the police force had during the time. Knowing this is a real story, I'm honestly shocked how some of this stuff happened and how it was even allowed in the first place. And the cast that play out this story for the most part are really good. Lots of Game of Thrones casts I found as well. We have Mark Addy, who plays the main investigator throughout this series. And the Greyjoys return, although Gemma Elizabeth Whelan plays a much larger role than Alfie Allen does. And she was just so good in this. Her performance to me was one of the standouts in this series. And then we also had some unfamiliar faces to me that also did an incredible job. Freddie Fox plays a big part in this TV show, and for me he was the other great standout performance. I mean, I looked him up on IMDb and I think he played a small part in King Arthur, but this was like the big thing that I've first seen him in now. And I'm really trying to not spoil this for you guys. I judged this show quite early on in thinking it was being too obvious on how it wanted the audience to think and feel. And it's only until you move from the who or what onto the how and why that this suddenly turns into a really interesting investigation drama. The choreography here is actually really solid as well. There's a part in the first episode towards the end when the main event takes place, which I'm almost certain was done through a one-shot. You follow the perspective of this one policeman who, actually now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure he was Goyle in Harry Potter. And it was just a incredible scene to watch from start to finish. Super tense, well shot, all the way through. And there was just bits of that happened throughout this series. Really interesting camera angles that framed the shot when characters were talking. I do have one gripe with the series though, and that is throughout there are occasions when they go into the television point of view, where it shows you what the audience that are watching the TV are looking at that time. Unfortunately, they've just done a filter essentially over the actors and what they're doing. I thought that would have been a really good chance to superimpose real life footage that took place during the time. I know movies like Patriots Day have done it before, where they superimpose CCTV footage of what the bombers were doing at the time of the story. And I think that just would have made a really good extra touch here as well. It just helps to give you better context and a reminder that this actually did happen. I can't really talk more about it without spoiling it for you guys, so I think I'm just going to leave it here. Like I said before, there's a couple of bits to the show that's a little bit slow, but on the whole, this series had me hooked from start to finish. It's currently out on Netflix in the moment, and I definitely recommend it if you're a fan of mysteries, dramas, or love just a good biopic film. And when I say biopic, I mean not documentary styles, but retelling of real life events through a movie format. But that's it from me here today, guys. Thanks a lot for listening. Let me know if you've seen White House Farm on Netflix already, what your thoughts on it might be. Let me know in the comments below. And if you did like this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews on movies, anime, and video games. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye bye.